Yes, what's happening, people? We're here for another episode of Let the Punk Talk. As always, joined by Carl from Boxing Royalty. Carl, how are you, mate?
Very well. The week is over. Back in Monday to actually, I've never done Monday to Friday in work, so it's my first full week of Monday to Friday, and I can tell you now, from going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning to now being asleep by 11:30, I am
Yeah,
bollocks. So watch the boxing tonight, watch the boxing tomorrow night, and do nothing else.
fair enough, mate.
What about you?
Yeah, decent, mate. Decent. To be fair, like you saying that, this job that I've got now is my first Monday to Friday job that I've had in since I was like 16. So, yeah, I know how it feels, mate. I know how it feels.
Tiring.
But anyway, we digress onto some boxing talk. So, for most people that don't know, there's a show down in Watford Leisure Centre. The promoter is Tony Peels, who is my second in my corner and a good friend of mine. He's putting on a show down there. If you're around the area, please pop down. It's called Young Lions 3.0, and it's got some fantastic people fighting on there. Tom Ansell, who's making his comeback fight after being in a 10-round war on a good win card. It was a great fight. And yeah, so he's making his return to the ring. We've got Tycee Galar, who, in my opinion, is a top young prospect in the women's bantamweight division. I've sparred her, I've seen her fight, and yeah, mate, she is absolute quality. And I think she will go a long, long way. Yeah, big things in her future. Unfortunately, Frankie's story's been pulled off the cards. I'm not sure what the reasons are for that, but I see it on his social media the other day. I'm guessing it must have been something to do with an opponent. So, sorry to hear that, Frankie. Um, and the long-awaited return of Mitchell Smith is also on the cards. And for people that don't know Mitchell Smith's story, it's actually quite amazing. Like, he was a top prospect signed by Frank Warren years ago, won the Southern area, won the English, won the WBO Intercontinental title, got Young Boxer of the Year on some platform, not sure what the platform was. And yeah, he just looked like he was ready to set the world alight. Then in 2017, just, you know, I don't know, kind of like he stopped boxing for certain reasons, and yeah, it's been a long road back for him. I think he went up to something crazy like 20 odd stone or something, well out of shape, and he used to fight at super featherweight. And yeah, now he's on the road to recovery, as some would say, and he's I think he's fighting at welterweight on the show, but he is looking to get back down to, I think, like lightweight or super lightweight. So yeah, that should be, yeah, it's just going to be an amazing card, amazing night. I went to the last one that Tony did, and I really enjoyed myself. And I did the write up for the show, and yeah. So if you're around Watford area, please come down and please check out the show.
100%. I mean, obviously, you like you said, you went to the last shows and it was quite good. But some of the names you mentioned there for a small hall show, like not even small hall, it's with no disrespect intended. It is a small show. You got some great fighters, and like I said, Tom Ansell just coming out of an English title eliminator fight. He's looking good. You share a gym with him. I know you're not in the gym as much as he is at the minute, but I wish him all the best. And Tycee Gallagher, like you said, who you sparred with, I can only take your word for it. I've never met her, but obviously you're not usually wrong about a lot of things. So yeah, gutted I can't make it. Like I say, I might change my mind tomorrow, but if I don't, I wish them all the best of luck. And I'm sure I'll see Tony at some point during your camp.
100%, mate. 100%. So moving on to the big boxing show on the weekend, in the Matchroom show at the O2, the headline fight, Joshua Buatsi and Craig Richards. Talk about this card. So the I would say the main talking fights on the card would be Chantal Cameron, Robbie Davis Jr., Alan Babich, and obviously Joshua Buatsi. So we start on Chantal Cameron. So not too sure about the person she's fighting. I can't say I know much about her. I don't know if she's ever been world champion or
She
anything
has
like
been
that.
a world champion.
Oh, she has, yeah.
Yes.
Sweet. And this fight is for two. Oh, the WBC and the
In
IBF.
fact,
Okay.
I think she was. She fought. Yeah, she did. She fought Cecilia Breakhouse in an undisputed fight for everything.
Oh, really?
Every belt, yeah, and it went to a decision.
And she lose.
Yeah, she lost unanimously, but she went 10 rounds with Cecilia, who's Lady Cecilia. You know, I spoke to her years ago, and she's like she's probably not on par with Katie Taylor, but she's in that grasp of she
Yeah,
took
yeah.
women's boxing to America. You know.
Oh, fair enough then. Fair enough. So she's obviously quite a decent opponent. But from my view, I know Chantel quite well. I used to spar her years ago quite a lot. She was quite a regular sparring partner, to be honest, at one point. I was always down the McGuigan gym. And yeah, mate, she is quite a handful, to be honest, in the ring. She hits relatively hard. She's got good boxing skill, great engine, come forward. Like, I can't really see many people in the women's division beating her. I would say the only one probably would be Katie Taylor. So yeah, I think that's a win for Chantel, in my opinion. What
Well,
about you,
one,
Carl?
I didn't know you sparred her, but two, mate, nobody beats her. Nobody beats her in the divisions, all the divisions around her. She is, since she's gone with Jamie Moore, she's just turned spiteful. You know,
It was always spiteful.
you know what I mean? But this is the thing. She doesn't need to do this fight, right? She's waiting, and I can't remember the other two champions' names, but she's on a promise to fight the winner in an under. It was a tournament when I think it's Calories, is it? The other champion, I can't think for the life of me the name. I think it's Calories, but she didn't need to take this fight. You know, Eddie Hearn said about it yesterday. Like Chantel just said, "Get me out." She could have gone in with anybody over 6 rounds to stay busy until that fight comes in the summer. But she showed bollocks, kind of, to fight somebody so established. No, she's risking everything. She loses tomorrow, she's lost that undisputed fight. I don't think she's going to lose. And like I said, I don't think there's anyone that will beat her. But I love watching Shad. She's probably her and Savannah Marshall, my two favourite women fight, apart from Katie Taylor as well, obviously. But yeah, mate, I just can't see anyone getting near Chantel Cameron. I think she's too big. She's too spiteful. She's strong. And she just flicks that switch, doesn't she? She's so nice outside the ring. And then when she gets to that ring walk, it's like, bang, let's go, kill the motherfucker and move on.
Yeah,
But I like her a lot, yeah.
Yeah, fair play to her. Yeah, I like her a lot as well. As I said, I've been a sparred with her for years down at when she was with Shane McGuigan and all that. And like, yeah, you could see even back then, like she was gonna do great things. I think she was like IBO world champion in like 5 or 6 fights or something.
Does she hit hard?
Yeah, she does. Like solid, like it's a solid punch. Yeah.
Would you do it again now? Would you, if Kieran rung you up Monday and said, I've got Chantel Cameron in to spar, say she was your weight, would you spar her?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I used to do it years ago, so there's no reason I wouldn't do it now, you know. But yeah, so all the best to Chantel, and I think she'll pick up another win. But moving on to Robbie Davis Jr., I'm not too sure again on his opponent. I was checking him out on BoxRec. I think he's lost his last 2 fights and he hasn't fought for a year. But so I would imagine that he would win. But having said that, who was it he lost to? Lost to some Mexican fella, didn't he? Like a couple fights ago.
Yeah, we spoke about it, didn't we, when he had Domingo in the corner and he was boxing Southpaw and it just was not working.
Yeah.
It was one before the last one. It was against Gabriel Valenzuela.
Yeah, because obviously that fight was just a very strange one, and it just looked like to me that he suffers from like I don't know, like confidence issues or something. Because it was just like strange. Like in that fight, he just didn't look like he was all there.
We
Like,
never struggled with confidence issues before because I thought he was a prick before he lost to Lewis Rickson.
who knows, mate? Who knows? But yeah, like, I do think he is proper talented, Davis Jr. So I can't see this guy giving him much problems. But going off of his not last performance, but the performance a couple fights ago, if the Davis Jr. that doesn't turn up that we know that can. You just never know what can happen on a night.
He's looked a lot better since he went with McGuigan, I think.
Oh,
Say that about a lot of fighters now, though.
Yeah.
You know, since they go with Shane, as much as I don't like the McGuigans, you can't disrespect their Shane's knowledge. You know, he turns fighters into better fighters. A Coley, Luke Campbell, Anthony Fowler. Who's the other one he's got? Can't think. Don't matter. But yeah, they've both got similar records. Robbie Davis is 22-3, and Moreno is 22-4. And with these Mexicans, mate, you just don't know what's coming. You look at Lara. Like everyone thought Warrington was just going to knock him out or just box him as ease. Warrington got absolutely flopped by him. Do you know what I mean? So this Moreno could be useless and do nothing, or he could be absolutely brilliant and school him. But yeah, it's hard to say. You fancy Robbie Davis to win, but I mean, I don't look forward to watching it. That's one of the fights that I'll have on in the background and sit on my phone on. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we're safe for the English that we hope Robbie Davis wins.
To be fair to him, he has been in a lot of real entertaining fights. So maybe you put the phone down for that one.
Maybe I will, yeah. Maybe for the first round.
Right, so moving on to Alan Babic. Again, I'm not really too sure who his opponent is. He's got a decent record, but to be fair, sometimes having a decent record doesn't mean much in boxing. Not heard of him, not heard of anyone he's beat or lost to. But Alan Babic, what are your thoughts on Alan Babic?
I think it's hard, because he's obviously had 10, 12 fights or something, and he's fought the two guys that he smashed through the window have been closer to cruiserweight than they have heavyweight.
Yeah.
So look, he's clearly got power. I mean, I don't want to scare the man, and I hope he does not see this because I am fucking petrified of that guy. Do you see him at the press conference yesterday? He just had a blazer on with nothing underneath. He just kept hitting the table until they spoke to him. Bang, bang, bang. He's a nutcase. Do you know what I mean? But he's entertaining. And if you're a promoter, you want Alan Babic on your shows because he'll sell tickets. He'll bring people to press conferences. He'll bring people to weigh-in. Like I say, is he the greatest boxer? I don't think so. He's still young in the game. But this is a tough fight, mate. This guy's only lost to that Mateus Masternek, who Bellew fought. Again, it's hard to say how good he's going to look. But with Babic, he'll either stop the geezer inside 2 rounds, or it's going to be an all-out thing. And it's going to be interesting because he's going down to bridgerweight, which is more natural for him. But how's he going to be at that weight? Do you know what I mean? You don't know it. It's one of them which, I don't know. Is Babic good? He's got talent. He's got power. I mean, a bit like Wilder. Got a lot of power, but his boxing skill isn't all there, I don't think.
Me personally, I don't think he's great, if I'm being honest. Like, I think he's probably around like southern area to English level. Like as you said, he's very entertaining, so I can see why he gets on the big cards and so on and so forth. He's been managed very well with like the opponents they've given him. And as you said, he's like the ones he's blasted out have all been cruiserweights. But to be fair, he's not like, you can just see, like looking at him, he's not like a proper heavyweight. He could probably make cruiserweight, which is probably why he's going down to Bridgeham weight or whatever the weight class is called. I didn't even know that was actually an established weight class yet. I know.
Yeah, they've got a world champion now.
Oh, do they? Who?
Yeah, Oscar Rivas.
All right, because it's not even on BoxRec.
No, I don't know why it's not, but yeah, Oscar Rivas beat some. I think he was Croatian as well. He beat him for the WBC Bridgerweight. Trust the WBC to bring out another belt, by the way. But yeah, they got a licensed world champion now. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough then. Fair enough. But yeah, like again, one thing with him was I remember when he fought Tom Little, and mate, honestly, I swear to God, I thought that was like the best Tom Little had ever looked. And like there were moments in the fight where I was watching it, and I know like he was getting dropped a couple of bits, but it looked like Babic was fading, and I was thinking like, well, like Tom Little could probably pull this off once it gets to the later rounds. But I think the ref stopped it. I can't remember if it was a justified stoppage or not, looking back on it, because it was a while ago now. But Yeah, and then obviously Tom Little retired after that, and I honestly thought that was the best I've ever seen of Tom Little. But yeah, I don't know. Like as I said, I don't know who this guy is, and I'm guessing he's been managed pretty well. So I would imagine that Alan Babbage is going to win again and probably by knockout again. But once he does step up, I can see him losing.
What about if Alan Babbage fought Dave Allen?
Yeah, I reckon Babbage would beat Dave Allen.
Yeah. All right. So never had happened, but I don't think you've watched Fabio Wardley, have you? What about if Babbage fought Nathan Gorman?
I reckon Nathan Gorman would beat him.
I think Babbage beats him. I think if you put Babbage in against someone like, I think he'd struggle with Fabio Wardley. Johnny Fisher versus Babbage.
Johnny Fisher would beat him.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Yeah, I think you've got to have power to beat Babbage, and I'm not being rude to Nathan Gorman, but I really don't see what Nathan Gorman's got. I just every time I've watched him, he's either beat a fucking I don't know who they are. But then look, I know about the Dubois fight, and obviously, he had a lot of personal problems going on. But I don't know. What about then one more, which we'll talk about this actually? Hughie Fury versus Babbage.
Oh, Hughie Fury would beat him easily.
So what about the next fight for Hughie Fury that's just been announced with Michael Hunter?
Thing is with Hughie Fury, yeah, he's actually such a good boxer.
Mm-hmm.
But he's quite, I guess you'd say, boring. So not a people take a lot of interest in him. But he is like, mate, he's boxed at the highest level. What were his 3 losses? It was
Betkin, which he looks awful in. I was there for that.
Oh, really?
Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
And did he box Andy Ruiz? Or was that Parker that beat Ruiz but shouldn't have beat Ruiz?
Yeah, that was Parker that fought him.
It's Povetkin, Parker, and this is going to kill me because it's so obvious and I can't think of who it is. It's before I look, it's Pulev.
Oh yeah, so there you go then. Like he's lost to pretty class operators. Like okay, Pulev never won a world title, but he is class. Like he's got real good wins on his records. He's had loads of great fights, and Pulev's only lost to the very, very best in the division. So his 3 losses probably coming from world class fighters, and he's got some decent wins. Like even his last win was pretty good. I mean, it was quite past it with that Christopher Hammer guy or something, whatever his name is.
Christian Hammer, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like mate, I think Hughie Fury's good, man.
Got to remember, he's only young as well. I think he boxed Parker for the world title when he was 24.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Right. He's young, man, and he's still picking up experience. So I reckon he'll definitely be a world champion. Like sooner or later.
I don't know. I don't think he. Look, I'd like to see him do it because as much as he only says about 22 words in a 10-minute interview, he is good. But I can't see him being a world champion personally.
I think he will, mate. I used to think years ago he'd beat AJ.
Think he beats AJ now? Never.
Probably.
No way. I'm not having that. Move on.
All right, moving on. We've got obviously the biggest fight on the card, the main event, Joshua Buatsi versus Craig Richards, which is a massive fight for British boxing. Is that for a title?
I think it's like a WBA Buatsi's belt. I don't think it's anything. No, it's not.
No, it's not. I don't know, but I'm guessing the winner of that's got to be getting another world title.
It's an eliminator. It's eliminator for the WBA.
Oh, for the WBA. And who's that? The guy that beat Canelo?
Bivol, yeah.
Yeah, Bivol, okay. Yeah, so my opinion, like they're both great fighters. And I think Craig Richards has probably got I would say definitely got the better record of the two. He's beaten some pretty good fighters, and his losses have come to pretty good fighters. I think he lost to Frank Buglioni, who in my opinion was very who was like one of the toughest at British level, and he got some good wins as well, like some unexpected wins. And then it was Bivol, who obviously we saw that what he did to Canelo. So now we all know how good Bivol is. And I mean, Craig Richards didn't look terrible in that fight. Like, he was definitely in the fight. But and yeah, and then Buatsi's he's beaten some good opponents himself, but probably never been in with the talent that Craig Richards has. But having said that, I can't see Buatsi losing. I just think, I mean, I've watched Buatsi from day one, and I've just always thought he was like something special. It's kind of weird how I think him and Josh Kelly are the only two that ain't fought for a world title from the Olympic team that they both come from. But obviously Josh Kelly had losses, but Buatsi's just stayed on a winning path and kept winning. So it's weird that he's not actually fought for a world title yet.
It's because there's been loads of unifications in that division, isn't there? You think light heavyweight, there's been so many cross fights. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I just think Buatsi's got all the skill in the world, all the talent in the world. And yeah, I just think I can't see Craig Richards beating him, and I can even maybe potentially see Buatsi stopping him late.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's getting knocked out, it's going to be Richards, because Buatsi, you know, like I said, I've seen him live. I watched him against that American, and he's just spiteful, mate. When he lands that jab crisp, you know what's coming, and you know you're going to be on the floor 3 seconds later. Look, Craig Richards had some brilliant wins. You know, Shakan Pitters, he was expected to go over there and get knocked out. He knocked him out viciously in like round 3 or whatever it was. He also had another very good win as well. But look, the Bivol fight, yes, he got through 12 rounds, but Bivol was nowhere near the levels he was against Canelo. You know, it was his first fight for like 18 months. And, you know, he's gone around all week saying, you know, well, look at Bivol, he beat Canelo, he only just beat me. It was like, bro, Bivol boxed how he did against Canelo against you. It wouldn't have gone past 4 rounds. And that's because I like Craig Richards. I've got nothing against him, but I'm a big... Buatsi's probably my top 5 favourite fighters. And like I just said to you before we come on here, I don't know what's going to happen, because your head says Buatsi wins all day long. But Richards has proved, even though Bivol weren't at his best, he's proved he can move and he can give it. Yeah. And he has got some welly in his punches. So I wouldn't be surprised if Richards beat him. I'd be gutted, but it wouldn't shock me. But I think if someone says £1 million back it, I would back Buatsi late stoppage.
Yeah. Fair enough, man. Yeah, that's very much exactly what I said. I can't see Buatsi losing, but Craig Richards is good and he's proven he's like at world level. But yeah, I just think Buatsi's just something special about him.
Do you think he could end up unifying? You think he's only young as well still?
I don't know. There are some good fighters in the light heavyweight division. I mean, obviously we've seen what Bivol's just done. And then you got that other fella, I can't remember his name. He's like a Russian fella, and I think he's had
Beterbiev.
like 15 fights, 15 knockouts, or 17 fights, 17 knockouts, or something.
He's an animal, mate. He is the only light heavyweight I 100% believes beats Buatsi. Yeah. But then even then I don't, because Callum Johnson put Beterbiev on his ass. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, tomorrow we will find out how good Buatsi is. If he wins tomorrow, he is then going to be classed as a world level fighter. Do you know what I mean? He's then going to need that big fight. So it's thing with these divisions, mate, cruiserweights, light heavyweights, it just takes one punch. Don't matter what level you are. If you land that punch, you're either smashing their legs to jelly or they're going to be on their ass. So look, it's going to be a good fight. I hope Buatsi wins. Nothing against Richards, but yeah, mate, I'd like to see if Buatsi wins tomorrow, mate. I think he'll be a world champion by this time next year.
Oh, do you think it'd beat Bivol?
Well, I think Bivol's going to be arrogant now, and I think Bivol's going to go down to super middle and fight Canelo for the undisputed fight there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe that's what's going to happen. You know, Canelo hasn't asked for it, but I think Bivol believes he beats him at super middle, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think that WBA belt. I think the winner of this will fight for an interim WBA world title.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Bivol beats Canelo at super middle.
Well, just a yeah. I mean, he's already schooled him pretty much at light heavy. As long as he's fine with making the weight, I don't mean he's never made that weight before, or ever gone down, never fought it, as far as I'm aware. So it's quite random that he's all of a sudden just decided to move down to it. So I guess it's all about how comfortable he feels moving down to middle.
I
Really,
think he's just doing it to prove a point because people have said that, he only beat Canelo because he was at a heavier weight. So Beterbiev said, all right, well, I'll drop down and fight him for his world title this time.
yeah.
But yeah, he shouldn't do it, mate. He's beat Canelo. Move on now.
Yeah.
Bye bye, Canelo. You beat me. I beat you. See you later.
Yeah, pretty much.
But then I wouldn't be surprised also if Canelo goes down to super middle and has the fight that's supposed to happen in the contract, GGG. Because who do you fancy now after seeing Canelo in his last fight?
I think Canelo would still beat him now. I just don't think GGG's looked good for a long time. Like I think he's slow. Like he's slowed down a lot, and I think there were some questionable wins that he got in his last couple of fights as well. I'm sure like the Danny Jacobs fight was supposedly questionable, and then there was like, didn't he box some like Ukrainian or Russian and got a split decision? And
wasn't that the guy that we spoke about it the other day? That Montana Love beat. I can't think of his name. But I know he knocked the geezer out in his last fight, didn't he? Knocked that. I think he was Filipino or something.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Fuck knows who it was, but yeah, I don't think it's a bit like when people say should have Amir Khan fight again. No, I think he's past it now, and I think just look, retire as a world champion. Have one fight in Kazakhstan, and then ciao. But he's 40 years old, mate. It's not like
that GGG.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. I'd struggle to get out of bed at 40, and that's only in 12 years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be fighting. Well, I ain't fought in my life, but I wouldn't want to fight in 12 years' time. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think he's just slowed down a lot now. I couldn't even see him really giving Canelo much trouble now.
No, yeah. As much as I hate Canelo, I agree with you.
Bless old Triple G. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I've spoke about all I wanted to speak about. Is there anything else you wanted to go through, Carl?
No, not off the top of my head. What we got? How long you got now? What's it from tomorrow?
9 weeks tomorrow.
And you've been in the gym a lot more this week, haven't you?
Yeah, mate. Pretty much the whole week I've been in the gym. One session with Kieran, and I've been doing a lot down at State of Mind and so on and so forth. But it would be the 8-week mark where, it'd be like all systems go.
Where you piss Terry off.
Piss Terry off? Why did I piss Terry off?
In camp.
Yeah, when you're in camp.
When I can piss her off. Yeah.
A week and a half of you being nice before that's it. How's Kieran? You said he wasn't too well. Is he all right now?
He's still pretty bad, mate, to be honest. But
was it COVID or?
Nah, I think it was just a bad case of the flu. But he's on the mend. Like he's doing the cuts and all that tomorrow at the show. So he's on the mend. So yeah, he'll be down at the show tomorrow.
All right, lovely. Well, if I'm not there, say hello to everybody.
I will do, mate. I will do.
Yeah, apart from that, mate, I've got nothing else.
All right, sweet. So we'll wrap it up there. Join us next week for another episode of Let the Punk Talk. We'd love to stay and chat, but we really mustache.